What skills do I bring to your company? Well, how about the ability to lead a repeat after me song while dressed in an inflatable dinosaur costume? Hey there, happy campers. Welcome back to Complete Camp Counselor. It's Jason. Today we're going to be talking about how to take all of those awesome, crazy, wacky skills that you learned as a camp counselor at summer camp and how to apply them onto your resume so that they translate to potential employers in the real world. So here are 6 camp counselor skills that you can put on your resume. So most employers these days, when they're looking to hire a candidate, regardless of field, they're looking for these 6 intangible skills in their candidates that they can then translate into their workplace. And it just so happens that each of these skills are perfectly suited to camp counselors. You probably already know them. You spent all summer doing them. So let's talk about what they are and how to best put them on your resume. So the first skill is communication. Communication is key at summer camp, and any counselor worth their chacos has to be a master communicator. They have to go from teaching a new game to a group of kids to having a phone call with parents about how Jimmy's homesickness is going. You've also probably had to coach campers in how to effectively communicate with one another in order to work out their differences and solve problems. So make sure that you're putting on your resume not only who you were having to communicate with as a camp counselor, but also how you were a positive part in making that communication happen. Were you the one that made the phone call? Were you the one that facilitated the conversation and helped those kids come together? Highlight those communication skills for those potential employers. Counselor skill number 2 to highlight on your resume is collaboration. As a camp counselor, you were part of a team that helped make the summer an amazing one for all of your campers. So whether it was working with your co-counselor to establish a bedtime routine for your campers, or working with the waterfront team to divide up responsibilities so that everybody was covered and safe, camp is 100% a place where you cannot be a lone wolf. You have to collaborate and work with the people around you in order to make the summer a successful one. Employers are looking for candidates who can seamlessly integrate with the people that they already have on board there. People who can come in and contribute new ideas, but are also open to learning from the people that have been there before them. Skill number 3 to highlight on your resume is adaptability. So as camp counselors, we've all been there. You spent hours coming up with the perfect evening activity for your cabin, and it rains. At summer camp, you undoubtedly faced numerous times where you had to come up with new and exciting activities to keep your campers engaged. In today's fast-paced work environment where things are constantly changing, being a candidate who can think on their feet and come up with new solutions on the fly really can help make you stand out from other candidates. The next skill that employers are looking for in their candidates is problem solving. So not only are employers looking for somebody who can think on their feet, but they're looking for somebody who has a history of taking those ideas and putting them into action towards either solving problems or preventing problems from happening again. So if you had to rework a system at camp that just wasn't working for you or your campers, make sure that you highlight that on your resume. You want employers to know that not only are you somebody who can come up with creative solutions to problems, but that you also can put them into action and follow through on them. It's one thing to be the person who's coming up with all of the ideas, it's another to be the one who's actually putting those ideas into action and using those ideas to actually solve problems. Now, before I go on to the next tips, if you are new here and you're liking what you see so far, go ahead and hit that big red subscribe button. Turn on notifications so that you can be up to date on when new videos come out. Go ahead and like the video. That really helps us out, and we can get more content out to you to help you prepare for the summers ahead. Now that that's out of the way, skill number 5 is taking on new challenges. Were you that counselor who is always volunteering to take on new tasks or assignments? These days, employers are looking for people who want to push not only themselves, but also the team. I mean, maybe don't necessarily put that you came in second place in the Counselor Chopstick Challenge over the summer. Though seriously, if you've never done a chopstick challenge at camp, it's really fun. But especially if you've spent more than one summer at camp, employers want to see how you've grown within your role at that camp and taken on new responsibilities. So find a way to highlight either how your responsibilities have changed from one summer to the next, or from the beginning of the summer to the end if you only spent one summer at camp. Even if this was your first summer at camp, I'm sure that by the end of it, you were feeling much more confident in your abilities as a counselor than compared to the beginning, and were more able to take on different roles and feel more comfortable in those roles and push yourself more. So find a way to highlight that change over time on your resume. And finally, summer camp skill number 6 to highlight on your resume to employers is dedication. Let's be honest, summers at camp are long, challenging, and tiring. You're probably exhausted right now just thinking about last summer, but you know what? You did it. And congratulations, by the way. Through the highs and the lows, the ups and the downs, the good times and the not so great, you stuck with it through to the end. And that's what employers are looking for. So if there was a specific project that you took on that you saw all the way to completion, or just the entire summer in general, make sure that you highlight that on your resume and be prepared to talk about it in your interview. Now, really quick, before we get going, I just have a couple of bonus tips for you. These really apply to resumes in general, regardless of if you worked at summer camp or not, but they're important enough that I feel like we should talk about them. The first one is, wherever possible, use specific numbers on your resume. Don't just put that you were a counselor in a cabin of girls. Make sure that you're telling them how many campers you were in charge of, how old they were, how many weeks they were in your care. Use those specific numbers to be able to impress the employer. When you're reading a resume as an employer, there's a big difference between counselor in a girl's cabin and was responsible for 12 15-year-old girls for 6 weeks. Second one sounds way more impressive. And the second quick bonus tip is to make sure you're starting each of your lines of your resume with action verbs. This is going to be words like supervised, collaborated, facilitated, all of those action verbs that really help to show what it is that you exactly did while you were at camp. Alright friends, that's going to do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Do me a favor, leave a comment down below. What is the weirdest way that a camp skill has translated itself into a real life job for you? Can't wait to read all those comments, and I'll see you next time. Alright campers, lights out.